if your children, who your children should hang out with. So let's play this video. Very controversial video. Let's play this video, shall we?
I don't let my kids hang out with kids from broke families. And it's not because they're broke, it's because I know that they must have limiting beliefs, and I don't want that passed down to my kids. The problem is, if I let my kids hang out with people that have limiting beliefs, they will pass all that on to my kids, which is exactly what I don't want. And that is why I never tell my kids, we can't afford it. That's impossible. You shouldn't go after that. It's too big. Because if they get any limiting beliefs as kids, as they grow older, they will never chase after that big dream. And this is exactly what a broke family can pass on to my kids.
Okay, that video is controversial. Some people agree with it. Some people it's extremely disturbing. I don't know the guy, never seen him before. But apparently I was reading the comments, and apparently he said that he himself does not come from money. He grew up poor. So this is an interesting conversation when it comes to parenting on a variety of different levels, not just from a economic standpoint of the friends that your kids have, but a lot of different things. What's your thoughts on this?
I think what he said was said in a very harsh and unsympathetic way, but there is truth in what he's trying to deliver. I'm a big believer, like the 5 people that you hang around, you become the median or average of that. So you do have to do some level of gatekeeping of who your kids are around if you care about them. Now, the rich and poor, the same thing, didn't grow up rich, wealthy, etc. So you can't be judgmental on that perspective, but I think the habits that certain people have can have an impact on your kids. As much as you try and parent well, the biggest influence is the education system created by John Rockefeller and the kids who are in that school system. So even with me, there are some kids that Xander may have been friendly with, and I would see things that happen at their household. I'm like, I don't like that. I don't like the way certain things happen over there. I don't want you to go play there. It wasn't because it was a wealth issue. It was more of a character issue. And I think there should have been more focus on that. But let's be very honest. A certain level of affluency, depending on who their friend groups are going to have an impact on how they behave overall. But what do you think?
It's a nuanced conversation. I think that so for me personally, we come from a working class environment, working class neighborhood. So he wasn't like hanging around extremely wealthy people. Everybody pretty much is the same. Some had it worse than others. Some had it better than others. Some had one parent. Some had 2 parents. But when you look at it in the micro of it now, everybody was middle class. Nobody was really, really killing it. Nobody was a millionaire. Nobody was making high 6 figures. If you made 6 figures, you was considered rich.
Yep.
And now we know that if you make 6 figures, you're not rich. Right?
That's a new poverty line.
That's the understanding that we had that we have now as an adult. I say that to say, look, people that I was around, I mean, thankfully, I had good friends. So we still are friends now, a lot of us, start earning your leisure. You look at Troy, Mike, AB's younger than us, but he's from our neighborhood. These are people that, my immediate friend circle, right? When it comes to Troy, Mike was not rich people, but we were able to do something positive to, build a multi-million-dollar operation. So you can still be successful even if your friends are not wealthy. Now, I will say this. The part that he said about limiting thoughts passed down from parents to children is a real thing.
That's a true thing.
And I saw this happen a few times, but I tell this story because it's the best visual that I can give. Me and Troy, we was at a community center in our neighborhood a few years ago, and there was a kid that was in, I think he was like in 11th, 10th grade, something like that, and we was talking to him. and we asked him what he wanted to be, and he said he wanted to be an engineer or architect. He said he wanted to be an architect. And his friend who was next to him started to laugh. And after he laughed, about 30 seconds later, he reframed his answer and he said, I'll probably just do sanitation. Now, that right there is it's a
prime example.
It's a prime example. So the kid that laughed, obviously, I don't know his whole family situation, but he has limited thoughts in his mind about what's possible. Potentially, probably could be passed down from his parents.
Or out of his own personal fear.
From his environment, from what his teachers, whatever, he has limited, no matter what, he has a limited thought process of his level of success. He passed that, he like literally passed it to his friend.
It's a virus.
His friend was not confident enough in himself and took the other person's insecurities and limitations, processed it in real time, and lowered his life trajectory from being an architect to a sanitation worker. No disrespect to sanitation workers because they're needed.
Yeah.
But what I'm just saying is that's something that I literally saw happen in real time. Within 30 seconds, I don't know. I'm not sure where either one of the kids are at right now. Hopefully God bless both of them. But he literally limited his life trajectory because of a limitation that his friend had passed, and his friend didn't even say anything to him. His friend just laughed. But that laughter
it's enough.
That laughter was enough. So yes, 100% who you're around, especially when you're young. And that's why, me personally, I'm very intentional about, okay, at a certain point in time, I had to take my son out of public school. Not because I know what happens in public school, and I know the type of environment is not gonna be beneficial for where I want his life to go. I don't think there's anything wrong with the kids in the public school because I went to public school, but as a parent, your job is to put your kid in the best possible position.
Yep.
And a lot of times, if you're around people that, unfortunately, it's not their fault, but had limitations have been passed down to them, they're going to pass it down, and then you become the sum of who you're around, unless you're very strong-minded. Me, I was a very strong-minded person. I had a lot of, and I was always a loner. I had friends, but I was always a loner at heart. So my friend, it didn't fully affect me the same way. Like I could be around people smoke weed. I never smoked weed. I never had the urge to smoke weed. But most people are not like that. Most people are not that strong-minded and strong-willed.
But were you a loner because you weren't in a positive environment to lift up what you aspire to be? Most loners that I know are successful, they were trying to avoid the bullshit or the friends who were in the streets or street adjacent or involved in activities that were not beneficial for us long term. It has a lot to do with it, man.